Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive? Today, we're all about flowers. We got this really interesting article. It's from 10mosttoday.com. They put together this list of the 10 most beautiful flowers in the world.
Ah, yes.
And it got us thinking.
Yeah.
It's a cool starting point,
Yeah.
But beauty, well,
It's subjective.
totally. Everyone's got their own faves, right?
Absolutely. What grabs you might not do it for someone else.
Exactly. So we're going to dive into what makes these flowers stand out, but also,
Let's encourage everyone.
yes, encourage everyone to think about what makes a flower beautiful to them.
I think it's fascinating, really, how a single flower
I know, right?
can bring up so many different emotions, memories even.
Totally. Like for me, lilacs, they always took me back to my grandma's garden.
Oh, that's sweet.
And speaking of lilacs, they're actually on this list described as this regal beauty. The article talks about the shape, that awesome purple color,
Yeah, those long petals, they make it stand out,
totally a different look than, say, a rose or something.
Yeah. Right. And that purple with the white outline, it really does. It feels majestic. But for me, with lilacs, it's the smell.
Oh, yeah, the fragrance.
That sweet, strong scent. It can really take you back to a certain time, a place, maybe even a memory you didn't know you had.
It's true. Scent is so powerful.
Yeah.
Especially with flowers. Okay, let's switch gears for a sec. The bird of paradise. It's on the list. And I always wondered, how did it get that name?
Well, picture this. Bright blue, red, orange, like wings, coming out of this thin green stem. It really does look like some kind of tropical bird taking off.
Huh.
It's like nature's mimicking art, or is it the other way around? This flower, it was huge in Art Nouveau design.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they loved it. Exotic beauty, that striking shape, it just fit the style.
It's amazing how flowers, they can inspire so much, art, design, everything. And speaking of art, we have to talk about Monet. And his water lilies, they're on the list too. The article says they have this rare beauty. What's that about?
With water lilies, it's how they blend symmetry and color. Each petal, perfect, like radiating out. And those colors, sometimes it's like they're glowing, like from the inside.
Yeah.
Monet, he was all about capturing light and color, so no wonder he loved these.
He painted them so many times.
Over and over.
Yeah. And each time it's like there's a different magic to them. Okay, from those peaceful water lilies, let's jump to the dahlias. Totally different vibe. This article, it highlights all the amazing colors they come in.
Dahlias, they're like nature's fireworks.
Yeah.
You've got it all. Pastels, those fiery tones, pinks, oranges, reds, whites. And then some of them, the petals, they have these color gradients.
Oh.
Like imagine deep red fading into purple or white getting brighter at the tips. It's like each flower is a little painting.
I like that. Little masterpieces. Now let's talk about a flower with, I think, some real cultural weight. The cherry blossom.
You're right on the money there. In Japan, the cherry blossom, it's not just a flower.
It's more than that.
Oh, much more. It's tied into their whole culture. Renewal, how life is fleeting. They only bloom for a short time each year, and they celebrate that. They have hanami, literally means flower viewing.
Oh, wow.
They gather under these trees,
Yeah.
have picnics, listen to music, just enjoy that moment. Because it doesn't last long.
I never knew that. That makes the cherry blossom even more special somehow. So from that delicate, short-lived beauty, let's go to a flower that looks almost, unreal. The lotus.
You said it, unreal. Those petals reaching out, bright white, pink. There's this ethereal quality. And then, bam, the center, that golden stamen just draws your eye.
It does look kind of fantasy-like. Okay, and while we're on the subject of awesome colors, the iris, another one of Monet's faves. And this article, it mentions all the different shades they have.
Oh, irises. They're a dream for anyone who loves color. Purple, blue, white, yellow. Each petal, it's like a brush stroke, and how the colors blend. It creates this depth, this movement. Just like in those Impressionist paintings. Makes you wonder, what did Monet see in them? Was it more than just how they looked? Did they connect to his art somehow?
Now that's a question I'd love to know the answer to. But speaking of bold colors, the marigold, it can't be left out.
Ah, the marigold. Gets overlooked sometimes, but it really brings a pop of sunshine to any garden. That orange, that red against the green leaves. But here's the thing, get up close to a marigold.
Oh, I like where this is going.
That golden color, it gets even more interesting. You see the ridges on the petals, little changes in the color, even tiny sparkles that catch the light. It's like a reminder, beauty can be hidden, even in something as simple as a marigold.
I am definitely looking at marigolds differently from now on. And then last but not least, a flower that throws the rule book out when it comes to color. The orchid. What makes them so different in the flower world?
Orchids, They're in their own category. So many flowers, they use gradients, these smooth changes in color. Orchids, they just go wild. Splashes of color, totally unexpected, like they're rebels. And the results? Amazing. Imagine this, bright magenta stripes on pure white, or delicate pink, but with spots, almost leopard-like.
Whoa!
Yeah, no wonder they're so exotic, so prized.
So we've covered some of the most famous flowers, each with its own thing going on. But before we move on, what are your thoughts on this list so far? What stands out?
You know what I find fascinating? Each of these flowers, it's like it has a story. The cherry blossom and its culture, the water lily inspiring art, even the marigold with its hidden stuff. There's more to them than meets the eye.
That's so true. It's like there's this whole world of stories just waiting to be told all about flowers. But I think it's time we moved on to the final flower on our list. The classic, the one and only, the rose.
Ah, the rose. It's captured hearts for centuries. And there's a reason. Those petals overlapping, curling, the amazing colors, and how many different colors there are. It's a timeless favorite for a reason.
They are iconic. And speaking of iconic, the article mentions that even the greats like Cézanne, Renoir, and of course Monet, they all painted roses, put them right in their masterpieces.
It shows you the rose, its appeal, it never fades. Artists throughout history, they've been drawn to it. Love, beauty, passion, even death. From a light pink rosebud to a deep, velvety red, each shade, it brings up something different, a different feeling, a different story.
It makes you wonder what those paintings would say if they could talk, right? So we've taken a trip through a garden of beauty, all these different flowers, each special in its own way. But this is just the start of our deep dive.
Yeah, this list, these 10, it's really like a tiny peek into the world of flowers, you know?
Right, like the tip of the iceberg.
Exactly. Think about it. Thousands of species, each one with its own story.
And you know, it's something I just realized. We've been talking about all these flowers, but we haven't even gotten into, like, the actual science of them, how they work.
You're so right. Like with the lotus, we talked about how beautiful it is, but we didn't mention how those leaves, they repel water.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, the lotus effect.
Fancy name.
It's inspired all kinds of stuff. Self-cleaning surfaces, waterproof clothes, all because of a flower.
See, this is what I love about these deep dives. Always something new to learn, even about things you think you know, like a flower.
It reminds us flowers, they're not just pretty to look at.
There's more to them.
Oh, yeah. They're vital for the ecosystem, for pollinators, for biodiversity, even the planet's health.
It's like they're beautiful and brainy.
Exactly. And speaking of brains, some flowers, they have these crazy ways of attracting pollinators.
Oh, tell me more.
Orchids, for example, they got these strategies to make sure their pollen spreads. Some of them, they actually look and smell like female insects.
No way.
Yeah, to trick the males, lure them in.
Wow.
Others, they have these like traps. Insects get in, they have to brush against the pollen to get out. It's amazing.
Yeah, they're like little flower con artists.
Huh. In a way, yes. But it's all about survival, right? And it shows you plants, they're adaptable, they're resilient.
Okay, so we've got beauty, culture, science, a bit of trickery even. Anything else we should keep in mind when we think about what makes a flower so captivating?
I think it's also those personal connections we make with flowers, you know?
Like how lilacs take me back to my grandma's garden.
Exactly. Those associations, they add something special. A rose, given as a symbol of love, wildflowers from a hike when you were a kid, those experiences, they create memories, emotions, and they get tied to the flower itself.
A single flower holding a lifetime of memories. That's powerful.
It is. And that's what makes the world of flowers so amazing. It's beautiful, it's full of wonder, it's always fascinating. It shows us there's always more to discover, more to appreciate, more to learn from nature.
Well said. This deep dive, it's definitely changed how I see flowers. Never gonna look at a lilac, a rose, even a marigold the same way again, but it feels like we've only just scratched the surface.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Where do we even go from here?
I think this is where the real journey starts.
What do you mean? This deep dive, it's given us a starting point. We've learned some things about why certain flowers, they capture our attention, right? But now it's up to US.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, we got to go out there and find what speaks to US, personally.
So ditch the top 10 list. Make our own.
I love that. Beauty, it's different for everyone. What one person loves, someone else might not even notice. It's about finding what makes you happy, what makes you feel that sense of wonder.
Challenge accepted. I'm going to find my new favorite flower. Maybe one that's not even on A and Y lists.
Now, wouldn't that be amazing? There's so much beauty out there, just waiting to be discovered. Think about all the rainforests, those hidden meadows, so many different ecosystems all over the world.
You're making me want to travel, but maybe I can start closer to home.
Of course. Go to a botanical garden, explore a park, even just walk around your neighborhood. Look with fresh eyes, you know?
Yeah.
You might be surprised what you find.
Love that. And this whole deep dive, it's really shown me how much we can learn from flowers, not just about beauty, but about science, culture, even ourselves.
That's what's so cool about them, flowers. They're like this meeting point of art, nature, and what it means to be human. They tie us to the past, inspire us now, and even give us hope for the future.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, I think it's time to wrap up our deep dive. Let everyone go out there and explore the world of flowers.
But before we do, one last thought, if I may.
Of course, go ahead.
Next time you see a flower,
Right.
A-N-Y flower, just take a second. Really look at it. The petals, the colors, the way nature put it all together. There's a whole universe of beauty out there waiting to be discovered, petal by petal.
Beautiful. And on that note, we'll leave you to your own flower adventures. Until next time, keep diving deep.